Welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. As you can see, I'm out in the shop tonight, and over here I've got the old pellet stove rolling pretty good because cold weather is starting to set in around here, and I am not a fan. I tell you what I am a fan of is these Chinese diesel heaters. As you know, I've got one actually in the cab of this truck. It is a game changer in the winter. Push a button from in the house, all the frost, snow, what have you is off the windows within 10-15 minutes. Cab is warm and I'm comfortable on my way to work. And yeah, huge deal. But we've also seen the one that's out in the fuel shed. Works great, heats the whole shed up, no problem. So we've got this new one to check out, and I pretty well just unboxed it. This unit's from HCalory. They sent it out to get my thoughts on it, and they're running a deal on them right now. So we're gonna hook it up first time, put fuel in it, see how easy it is to get primed up, and we'll check a few things on the inside, make sure everything's good, fire it up and see how it works. Let's get at it. Now this is one of the all-in-one units, which has the tank, controller, and the heating unit itself all built in to this little cabinet, and comes with user manual. We've got a remote control, we've got the muffler, miscellaneous clamps, screws, hardware, and exhaust tubing. So first up, I'm going to go on and pop this cabinet off. We're going to take a look inside, see if there's anything that needs addressing off the bat. I doubt we'll have that, but you never know. And we'll go from there. We'll go on and put power to it after that, put a little fuel in it, and see how quickly we can get to prime up and fire up. This is the first time I've had this lid off. So we take a look around here. Got the fuel pump right here. Looks like we got fuel hose clamps, not tight. They're just kind of dangling in here. So that's not very promising. This fuel hose could use pushed on a little bit further, but comes down. This here is metal, so something I like to address on these units, they're all the same, is you might want to put something around this tube where it passes through, or tie it up to this electrical harness, that way it doesn't chafe on the metal. But doesn't look bad. I mean, I've seen far worse. Like I said, I always like to pop the covers off these all-in-one units just to check them out. And like you saw, right off the bat, we need to snug these clamps up. Jitting a big deal. And yeah, other than that, I don't really see any problems. So I'm gonna grab a flat tip. We're gonna snug those up. We will sink this fuel hose down a little bit tighter. Maybe add a little zip tie to this to keep it away from the edges and get it back together. Alright, so we got our fuel line clamps tightened up, case back on. Took a whole of 5 minutes to check out, find the little issues and fix them. Just a point to make, 9 times out of 10, these units from any brand, they're not perfect. So take a few minutes, pop the covers off, make sure everything's right, throw it back together. People might be freaking out. Oh my goodness, they left the fuel clamp loose. Well, think about the price point you're paying for what these are. A similar made unit from something made here in the States, you're talking $1,000+ These are typically in the range of 1/10 the price. So yeah, they may take a little work. It is what it is. So anywho, we're going to put power to it. We're going to put a little fuel in it and see how it runs. So we've got our temporary setup, a couple blocks of wood, exhaust tube slid on, garage door open, and we'll be powering this with a 20 amp 12 volt power supply. It's actually like a 13.5 volt power supply. Use this for radio equipment and such. Got it laying around, so we're going to use it. But yeah, I'm going to flip the power on. And everything powered up right off the bat. So let's see what we got.
Start heating. Stop heating.
Okay.
Thanks for using. I wish you a safe journey.
Isn't that cute? So before we get going, we'll thumb through the manual and figure out how to prime it, and we'll go from there. No priming needed. Pretty well fired right up. Just had to hit the power button. That's neat. I'll let it run for a little bit. It didn't put out any smoke, which usually these things do. But yeah, it started really easy. One of my complaints about a lot of these diesel heaters is how much of a pain they can be to prime up and everything. But yeah, this thing's self-primed. It's nice. But anywho, you can hear it starting to take off now. Sounds like a jet, which is normal. I don't have a muffler or anything on it, so it'll be a little loud. But another thing to note, if you're new to these, they will have a smell to them for a little while. The first couple times the plastic housing and everything heats up, that goes away. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I'm gonna run it for a little while and see how it does. It's been running about 10 minutes, give or take. Air temperature coming out of this vent tube. Yeah, it's hot, hot. I don't want to keep my hand in front of it. So yeah, it's definitely cranking out the heat. And based on the specs, this is an 8 kilowatt heater. If the numbers jive, it's around 27,000 BTU, something like that. So if you've got small insulated space, or heck, I've heard of people heating 2-car garages with these things. I don't know how well it would work for that, but I know it'll have the inside of the cab, my crew cab, 75 degrees in about 10 minutes. So I know it'll also heat my shed to 65, 70 degrees the longer I let it run. So I don't know, I may play with this thing and leave it in the shop for a while. But yeah, right now we're gonna see if we can get the Bluetooth app working. So we found our heater. It's giving us the specs on screen of what's going on. I can actually set the air temperature I want right here from the app. And it slowed down the fan speed right and immediately. pretty simple app, but yeah, hey, it works. We got combustion temperature, got battery power, got air temperature. So yeah, and press and hold. And shut the unit down. Pretty slick. Now, letting this cool down, the fan and everything continues to run after combustion stops, lets the chamber cool down before it shuts everything down completely. But so let's go over the details. Unit seems to work really well. I'm pretty happy with it. Price point on these units is probably the best I've seen, especially considering right now they've got a good deal going on them. So check the video description for a link. It's going to get you an extra 10% off, and yeah, that price is going to be hard to beat. But overall, decent unit. Can't complain. Now, will you want one of these all-in-one units like this, or will you want one of the non-standalone units that you have to plumb a tank to and everything else? That's going to depend on your setup and what you're using it for. For cab heaters and anything diesel powered, I like the units that are not standalone, that aren't in the cases. But if you want it to be somewhat movable and things like that, these standalone units are perfect, especially for something like heating a building. If you want to heat a shed, or if you want to use it for emergency heat. This will easily heat up a room. So as long as you exhaust it properly, you could use this to keep you warm in a pinch, that's for sure. But yeah, I have no complaints about this unit. As you saw, there were some hose clamps loose, not a big deal. I've seen a lot worse with the insides of these units. Some of them haven't had the pumps mounted right. Some of them have had fuel hoses disconnected on them. So just pop the cover off, take a look at it. If you don't get the standalone unit, if you get the just the heater with the controller, the tank and everything separate, it shut down. But if you get one of the units that everything is separate on, you're going to be hooking everything up yourself anyways, so there's nothing really to go wrong. In my experience so far, last several years of running these things, they are perfectly safe. I haven't had any issues out of them. None of them have gotten too hot. None of them have done anything crazy. I haven't ran any special fuel in them yet, but this one may just get that, because why not? But anywho, like I said, great unit, can't complain. And if you don't want to use the Bluetooth app, it does come with a key fob. So like me, you can click it from in the house, warm up the truck, be ready to go in the winter, don't have to get cold. With that said, if you got any comments, questions, complaints, drop them in the comment section below. If you want to support the channel, check out the website. It's www.notsograndgarage.com. Check out the PayPal account link in the video description if you want to make a monetary donation. If you would, hit that thumbs up button. Helps us out quite a bit. Doesn't cost you anything. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We appreciate you watching. Don't forget your discount code in the video description.